beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. Came in, I thought we had like our little topics already set. We're like, hey, we're gonna talk some Raw. E had a really good topic around, I don't even know if we, at this point, maybe Bischoff is the hater of the year. There's some credence to what he said, but every single time AEW does something, Easy E is on Tony Khan's head. Had a thing we were gonna talk about with Mercedes. Hey, is she gonna move the needle? I was talking about Paul Heyman tweeting at us and kind of go over that because I thought some things he said in there was really, really impactful. And then I get a text message from E a few hours ago. Tony Khan. Anthony Jermaine Khan.
He's Jermaine now.
Has done it again. Anthony decided to put Twitter, X, however you want to call it, in a tizzy. And we are going to talk this out because this is hilarious stuff that just went down on the X, on the Twitter. If you're not on there, you need to probably get on there. And then if you are not on there, or if you are on there, follow us. That's FNW. Rhodesia and Eshaun, hello. How are you guys? Episode 99.
Hello.
One from 100.
More closer to 100. Hundo.
What is special and beautiful before we get to these incredible tweets going on with y'all?
We get watch the Lions this weekend.
Let's go.
Let's
Come
go.
on now. Sunday night.
U of M won the
They
championship.
did. Go blue.
Mm-hmm.
The state is hot right now.
It
Much
is.
like WWE and Triple H. Unlike Tony Khan and AEW.
See?
Let's get into it.
See?
Matt P, let's get into it.
All right, so let's start with the first tweet. Okay, this is the first tweet that we saw. And I think this is the first one. So you guys know, or maybe you don't know, Hook cut a promo on Collision, 30-second promo. Promo was pretty good. He basically said that, like, hey, he wants to come after Samoa Joe. I guess there were conversations around what has Hook done to get a title shot, why is he getting a title shot, et cetera, et cetera. Out of nowhere, Anthony tweeted a double standard. Then he added Hook and said 28-1 career record. On winning streaks, called out the champ. A logical challenge sparks on-the-line outrage. Jinder has literally lost every single match he's in for the past year. Throwing my guy Jinder under the bus. Man, you don't hinder Jinder, especially from another company. We don't do that now. Immediately gets title shot. Where is the rage? He finishes that tweet with hashtag AEW Dynamite tomorrow on TBS.
That's the hashtag? That's a long ass hashtag.
No, it's just the hashtag AEW Dynamite.
Okay.
So that was the first tweet. So that was what E sent us. And I was like, all right, well, I know what we starting with. Gets better. Raj Giri tweets out talking about Seth and Jinder. These guys do have history. Seth Rollins defeated Jinder Mahal in the tournament finals to become the first NXT champion. The USA Network Twitter account, if you guys don't know,
They be on one. They be on one.
Somebody new is
I
running
think
that
they got you. I think they got you over there. You working
Somebody
USA Network too.
is running that account. And their response to Rogers' tweet was, what was the cage match rating? Now, if you don't know about cage match, Tony Khan a couple weeks ago said before the ROH pay-per-view that basically he knows they're doing things right with the Continental Classic tournament because the cage match ratings of those matches are like through the roof, super high ratings. Now, if you guys don't know, this is a site that basically rates wrestling matches. I have never heard anybody who I've known in my entire existence on this earth, and I know a lot of people who are wrestling fans, have never once talked about cage match. So we don't know if there's 12 people who are voting on cage match, if there's 200 people voting on cage match, if it is 20,000 people voting on cage match, whatever that number is, this is the minority of fans that is voting on match quality and TV shows that Tony Khan is looking around, booking his show around.
Hey, Matt, you know the messed up thing is? Like,
what is
when he
that?
sent that tweet out, I had to, like, what cage match is he talking about? I don't remember seeing any good cage matches.
You thought he was
What's
talking
this up?
about a shoot cage match.
I'm like,
Real
oh, talking about that
talk.
website? I'm like, oh no, Tony.
That is a website. That is a
what?
website. And I don't have a problem with it. When he first said that a couple weeks ago, of course, Twitter went crazy with it. I'm okay with every booker has to have some sort of way of dictating their show, right? So, okay, Tony's his cage match. Maybe Vince's was attendance, whatever. Who knows, right? But okay, cool. That's what you want to do. So that was what the USA Network tweeted. Tony Khan, Anthony Jermaine Khan was not having that. Anthony Jermaine said to the USA Network, he quote tweeted this. He said, a moral victory for USA is one win more than their world title challenger, Jinder Mahal, as in the past 364 days.
He doubled down. ...
Because it's been literally a full year since he won a match. You really put AEW in our place getting Jinder Mahal in a big match on your TV show. Do it more often. Y'all remember the coach? WWE?
Black coach?
Yes.
Yeah.
The coach.
Jonathan Coachman? I think
Jonathan
that was his
Coachman.
name. Yeah.
Jonathan Coachman enters the chat.
Oh, God.
Jonathan Coachman quotes tweets Anthony Jermaine. And Coach says, we also used to get amused at fans who counted wins like wrestlers earned them. Hell, if Vince won it, I could have been world champion. But the storyline didn't support it. It's about the story clearly, not wins in a predetermined space. Thought a boss would understand that. Shrug shoulders emoji.
Was it a black shoulder shrug guy?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Mikey enters the chat. Don't know who Mikey is, but shout out to Mikey. Whatever. Mikey says, Tony forgets that he literally gave Abaddon a title shot after being off AEW TV for over a year. ... The same exact situation as Jinder.
I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I have a problem with that because that wasn't Tony's thing. I'm gonna let you keep cooking, but should I insert my comment here now?
Of course, absolutely. We're here now.
That one's not a. That's not one. Not
we're here now
because his argument or his case is it's a double standard. Y'all saying that Hook doesn't deserve a title shot, but you have Jinder over there not deserving one either. But no one's in outrage about it. I don't think that is truly fair what that person just said. But I'll let them cook. Go ahead.
For Tony to be guilty of doing that is why he shouldn't be tweeting that. Right? Because Abaddon hasn't been on Dynamite or Collision in 55 years. And so for her to all of a sudden be in a feud in a championship match is definitely like, what are you talking about right now? So I don't think he has a lot of backing in what's going on.
Yeah, I think it's very similar, but they're a little different. But I think it's more similar than different. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
But that wasn't his argument. His argument is the double standard part. That's what I'm saying. Like I get what everybody's saying.
I don't know the big backlash there was to Julia and Abaddon. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know and I didn't necessarily hear the backlash. There might have been a small, because like it depends on what
super small.
It might be. So Tony might listen to certain sites, right? Like Paul Heyman obviously listens to the TFW pod.
You know
right?
it.
So
Let's go.
Let's go.
He gets so he listens to us, right? So who knows who Tony listened to? It might have been Joe Schmo's podcast, and they mentioned something and it triggered him. So he had to get on the X. You know, and matter of fact, why won't X just go back to Twitter? No one calls it the X. Like it's Twitter, or as Rhodesia says, it's the Twitter.
The Twitter, right?
Yeah, the Twitter.
I said a few days ago, I wonder if he does eventually go back, and that's like a whole like rebranding, right? Like we're back, and then bring the bird back and get everybody in a tizzy.
What a time waster!
But I think I didn't see one person react negatively to Hook's promo or Hook asking for a title shot. I personally didn't see that.
They must have on cage match.
It must have been a very small sample size that he heard and needed to react to it, but nothing, you know. If you haven't heard, because you're online a little bit more than me, so definitely if you hadn't heard anything, I hadn't heard anything. It had to be a very small percentage of fans that mentioned something.
But I'll tell you what, player hater of the year, Eric Bischoff enters the chat.
Here we go.
Easy E quote tweets Mikey and says, "Hey," and he adds Tony Khan. is this true or is it a bot? Okay, and that is to the response of what he did with Abaddon. Anthony Germain ain't having it. He says no, and he adds Eric Bischoff. Not true at all. Abaddon returned to AEW, plus then went on a 4-way match. I'm sorry, he said then they won a 4-way match on TNT against other great wrestlers to earn a title shot, which is completely different than someone going a full year losing every match they're in, then getting a title shot without a single win. After he got done cooking them there, he just responded right up under his own tweet and said, "Reading would be your friend, Eric." So I'll kind of stop there because it kept going. This entire episode could be about these tweets. Wrestlers started tweeting. Eric Bischoff, of course, didn't let it go. I don't think Tony Khan kind of let it go there, but that's kind of the crutch of the Tuesday X Twitter meltdown.
Hey, what did Jinder say?
Oh man, Jinder gave it up. So now, see this is the problem. See, the problem is when the lieutenants started just doing stuff, what happens? Soldiers, casualties of war. Jinder, we ain't seen Jinder in months before. He held his own with The Rock last week. Had a really nice segment with Seth on Monday Night Raw.
Didn't know he had an X account.
Didn't even know what Jinder said. Jinder said, "Who the fuck is Hook?" Watch Monday Night Raw on USA Network, Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Exclamation point, exclamation point, one more, exclamation point.
Okay, can I ask like the dumbest question here? I felt like as a in-ring talent, Jinder has been off of TV just in general for over a year. Last time
he was
saw
on
him,
NXT. Remember, he was managing.
Yep. Right, but I didn't know he was wrestling.
Just real quick too, and then Taz, he enters the chat.
Okay.
Taz quote tweets Jinder, and all he says is Hook.
Gotta get the brand
all,
right.
All capital letters.
You gotta get the brand right, Jinder.
Exclamation
Come
point.
on now.
Okay.
Disrespectful.
So Jinder had it just capital HOOK, where Taz is like capital H capital
totally messed it up. Totally messed it up.
He's like, get it right.
Yeah,
get it damn right. All right, so let's unpack this. Eshaun, you can take it first. Then Rhodesia, you can go, and then I'll kind of just bounce off of. Cause I got a lot of thoughts, of course, with this. But what you thinking?
So I want to play into it before I say something else. We'll wrap up with that. But let's play into it. Hook, right? 28-1, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going by the record. Who has Hook beaten? Has he beaten any of the AEW top stars to deserve a title match?
I don't think so.
A lot of it, no. A lot of it, and a lot of those matches were on Rampage, right? A show that less than half their audience watches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Against guys who are on the bottom end of the card, right? So this was like boxing or something of that nature. These aren't the guys that should be even ranked that high. So how truly is a guy who's beating unranked talent deserving of their most prestigious championship? So it's this, but at the end of the day, it's wrestling. You can make it work.
Right.
I didn't necessarily care, right? Now, with Jinder coming back out of nowhere, now at the same time, I replied to Tony.
Uh-oh.
And I said, I'm like, you know why? Here's the thing, Tony. I don't think people care enough about Jinder Mahal wrestling Seth Rollins to be enraged about it. Like, I saw the segment and I kept going. Okay. Moved on to the next one. Sure, we might have an interesting match. It's wrestling. These guys can book people into any angle, into any situation that they want. This is a wrestling fantasy. It's wrestling. It's fiction in a ring. They can make things happen however they want to make it happen. And all they have to do is create the proper story, right? To make us be invested in seeing that match. It's the same reason why we have Hook running around with the FTW championship, right? And it's not even a real sanctioned title. And he's defending this championship on his television program. I mean, they can create any kind of story or history that they want. Like, I don't really get where he's coming from. If I want to play into this, I'm thinking Tony is being smart. He's creating controversy. And controversy, as Eric Bischoff always said, equals cash. He's creating some buzz for his show. Because if he's not, he got to be one of the biggest marks in the business to come up with the shit that he says. Cage match ratings. We're talking about win-loss records. We're talking about fake fighting. And he's getting hot and bothered about him. Like, this man, if he really believes this, he is losing his ever-loving mind, Rhodesia.
I love how you like position that to me. Like, what was that
he
about?
He threw something on the bus and just threw it right to you.
Right.
Take it. Take this
He's
hot
like,
Anthony trash
Anthony Jermaine's out of his mind. Ain't that right,
and do
Rhodesia?
something with it.
Okay, so for starters, I thought I was going to come on here and just talk about, is this double standard fair or foul? So I'll start there. I will start that the double standard is absolutely, for him to say that, is absolutely fair. I said it when you was first breaking down the back and forth. I do think that tribalism is always at its best when we have something like this. People are going to say, hey, Jinder gets a match, but we give H the luxury. We give him the, hey, he can do it because he hasn't failed us right now. Tony Khan does, or Anthony Jermaine does it, and now it's a problem. So I do feel like there is some issues and double standards there. That's a hard period. I'm in it there. The next thing, though, is now we need to think about, why are we calling it a double standard? And to the points that E just said, like, if you look at Hook, yes, he is 28-1. That is a very good record. But who did you beat?
He ain't beat nobody.
So we're in the same position anyway. So instead of just taking things so seriously and being so like offended by stuff and defensive, take a step back and realize, why are people hating on this? Well, maybe it's probably your creative. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's your booking. That's probably why people are bringing up the double standards. But with all that being said, I think this is great. I think this is getting the people riled up. I think more people are going to watch Dynamite. I'm going to watch Dynamite for sure. And then, of course, I'm going to watch I didn't see this part, I guess, of Raw. When is Jinder supposed to be going after Seth?
Monday.
Okay.
For the championship.
Next Monday, I don't give a gosh dang about that match. But, I am very interested in seeing Hook and Samoa Joe. It doesn't matter to me if I feel like, and that's the difference. I'm invested in those characters, right? I want to see Joe defend. And this will be Hook's biggest test yet. We haven't seen him in the ring with any of the top guys. This is the first time. And I think their styles are going to definitely mesh. I think it's going to be a great match. That Seth and Jinder, boy, look, let me tell you something. Jinder hasn't done enough in 2 weeks to make me care. He got his ass whooped by Rock.
So hold on a second. See, E, I knew you was going to go there. We were at the first SmackDown together after Jinder won the World Heavyweight Championship.
I love Jinder.
I don't remember that.
We were.
I love Jinder.
Hard cam. They shot right to me at one point. I was cheering for Jinder. You can't hinder Jinder. Jinder's put the time in. Jinder had a title run.
That was 8 years ago, man.
I remember going to a house show in a steel cage match with AJ Styles and Jinder Mahal, where AJ was legit showing him how to work the main event style in WWE. You can't hinder Jinder. Jinder just put The Rock over a week ago. 171 million views later. And you telling me Jinder does not deserve a title shot?
You know what I was doing 8 years ago?
2 weeks before the Royal Rumble?
I was on the corner with my Draco. Slinging up hot things.
Okay, see.
You know what I'm talking about? Things change.
Let me finish talking
we talk about
Jinder. Let's talk about yeah, definitely suspension of disbelief, right?
Draco.
Listen, this
corner.
is Jinder. First off, this dude is, when he came back after, was it 3LB? I don't even know the name of their group. When was it? What was it called? 3LB?
You brought it up.
3LB.
You got to figure it out.
I'm about to call them Cheetah Girls. What is it called? Whatever they were called.
3LB. 3LB.
3 of them.
Oh,
so listen, MLB.
Yo, Dawkins was part of the group back then too.
I don't remember that. Anyway,
you know we should start doing. We should start doing whenever y'all say something frivolous like that, right? You're in the penalty box. You can't talk for like a minute. You got to mute up, and then you got to get back in like you would in a hockey game.
I might as well see myself out. I'm gonna go eat dinner. How about that? Anyways, point is, we all know Jinder's there is just a placement. We know that they're trying to cook up whatever they're going to cook up with Seth or who they're going to throw for him. At this point, Does Seth have an opponent at the Rumble?
See, man, look, you looking, y'all looking, look. No, we need to stick on these tweets. Let's have fun with these tweets.
Let's go back
first,
to the tweets.
And then we can break all this.
Okay.
I don't care about none of that.
Okay.
I just want to tell Anthony Jermaine Khan thank you because he brought that energy
on a
to
Tuesday.
X and Twitter.
He's going up on a Tuesday.
A random Tuesday when nobody was talking about nothing. This man came out of nowhere.
Bravo.
He wanted to smoke. Bravo to you.
Yep.
I do think it is absolutely hilarious that even his wrestlers on his crew are on separate sides of this. You got Dustin Rhodes out there tweeting like, hey guys, look, we all just love doing this for you guys. We probably need to chill out on the tribalism. And you got Dax getting on Twitter talking about something.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, pro wrestling's back.
And what Cash doing?
Which one y'all? Come on.
Cash
loading
up. Cash loading up.
Hey, Cash was me with Draco. We both.
We know
we
Cash
both
doing.
at it, man.
So the tweets. People who are getting up in arms about the tweets. This is pro wrestling, man. All of this is up for grabs and to have fun with. If you're not having fun with, like, if you're not laughing about this, you're taking yourself way too serious. You're taking these promotions way too serious.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ain't nobody getting hurt. Ain't nobody talking about fighting nobody. We are talking about tweets. You know, Allen Iverson was talking about, we talking about practice? We talking about tweets. We talking about tweets. We ain't talking about real life violence. We talking about tweets. One company does some little sly. Another, man, this is what it's about. Hell, on Nitro, they were giving out results on the show. And even that's fair game. Hey, you can't afford to have your shows run live? Too bad. It is all a part of the fun of being fans and being in this world of pro wrestling. I am completely all good with that. Bring more of that. Now, if I was talking like, and that's real, but if I was more on a, serious side of it, I would say, Tony, how about worrying about making sure your main event storylines come across as good as they should, opposed to worrying about Jinder Mahal and his title match on a random Monday Night Raw. That's what I would say to that. But in terms of the tweets, man, let's keep rocking it. I hope.
Hey, you know,
it feels like tomorrow.
It seemed like Tony Khan is just as invested in WWE as we are. And he's watching the shows. He knows the storylines. He knows how long this man's been. He knows to the day of his last match. That's how big of a fan he is. And you know what? That's what he's mad about, y'all. He's sitting there. He watching this good WWE TV. He know what's cooking. And he like, you know what? I can't do this shit on Wednesdays. I damn sure ain't doing it on Friday, and people ain't trying to watch it on Saturday either.
So what he say? I'm gonna do it on a Tuesday. I'm gonna
then,
do it online on a Tuesday.
Guess what? Now I'm stressed out. Cause look, I get it, right? Because side note, no real reality, right? Sometimes there's a pressure to perform. I felt that at one of my jobs. Like I just felt, man, like I was doing great, but I had this pressure to perform. And sometimes you can be like your hardest critic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look where Tony Khan is right now, right? He know it's Mania season. We're about to be in Rumble season. We got Mania come back. Oh my gosh. The Rock is back.
Yep.
I quit.
Don't forget about CM Punk. Don't forget about the person that you had to fire, which legit he had to go. But it's like 1, 2, and 3 on the latest merchandise sellers.
On a side note, okay, I had to get rid of Punk for Jack freaking Perry. We ain't seen his ass back on TV since. Where is he
he's
at?
The devil. He's a devil. Like we saw the devil already. They're gonna add another layer to the storyline, and like he's the mastermind.
I know we're gonna talk about Raw, but when they start talking about Satan, I'm like, Lucifer, all those names, stop. I don't want to hear anything about anybody who's evil. Like for real.
I think Punk was trying to tell you that he was the devil in the original story.
Oh my God!
He got fired.
Stop!
Look,
No.
Hey, he's so mad at Jack Perry for making him fire CM Punk. That man ain't been on TV in months. So he got this pressure. He knows that right now he can't compete. He's trying to start a war, right, that he can't win. He can't. This is a giant, and he is hot. Just 4 years ago, this man was the booker of the century. Everyone was anointing this man with the king. The king, the crown was so big and barely fit on that man's afro. Now,
Jermaine got the afro.
Oh my God, yeah. Jermaine got the afro. And now we are critiquing him left and right. Matt comes on this podcast. They can have a 5-star match for the entire show. And Matt's gonna come over, he gonna crap on it.
I wouldn't crap on the match.
Hey, he can count on Rhodesia because Rhodesia gonna love it.
Yeah.
But Matt comes on here week after week and says I'm the hater, but disrespects the show and that man every week.
Never disrespect. It is always constructive criticism.
No,
if people listen, when people listen to this show, they know.
Tony, we agree that it's disrespect.
You didn't.
I talked to him. I texted him, and he texted me
called
back.
this man a piece of crap, and he threw it to Rhodesia.
Right.
No.
Right.
No,
he said no.
Hey, he's just playing the character. He know I don't mean. Tony know I love him. He knows I love him. I'm just playing the character. But look, he has a lot of pressure on him right now.
Yeah.
He's
seriously. No, you're right. He does. And I don't know if he's cracking, but what I will say is those antics worked when they were in the public perception beating the dog crap out of WWE. That worked. We wanted that.
I don't remember him doing this, being this aggressive then.
He did. Remember when he made the comments about Nick Khan being a con man? That was when he just started the Impact. Was it Impact or NJPW partnership? Whichever one. He was cutting those promos every single week. He was out there talking about Vince McMahon and the sexual allegations.
Yeah.
Right. So he's done it. It's just now and I'm sure he's probably looking back like he's not putting on bad shows on purpose. We know that. We know he cares so much about his product in professional wrestling. So I'm sure he's looking at it like I'm putting together the best product that I can. We're getting crapped on for it. We're giving the best matches. We're arguably giving the best pay-per-views. But then this guy, aka Jinder Mahal, comes out of nowhere, gets a title match. Nobody says anything. But I have a guy that we're trying to promote and push as a great young talent. And I'm getting lambasted for it. Well, yeah, you're getting lambasted for it because, and I don't think the Jinder Seth match makes sense. I don't like it's for the championship.
It's a placeholder.
A week before Royal Rumble. I don't like that.
We don't care.
Right. and that's
care.
what it is. It's like, okay,
we don't care.
You just turned a match that was probably going to be 11 minutes of a solid match to now must watch for your competition. Because I know now I'm more excited to see Seth and Jinder after this.
It's a backfire. I don't think it's
Raw.
as bad as the Mankind thing that when Eric Bischoff gave away the results and everyone turned on. I don't think it's that bad. But so what I was going to say is that maybe Tony is just trying to create that controversy to get some buzz going for AEW. Get some extra eyes on that match on Dynamite because he does a great job of tying it back into, hey, watch on Wednesday. I just don't think the people that are out there for him to grab care enough about AEW.
Ding, ding, ding. And that's
they're on the WWE train and they're not getting off to see what you're doing right now.
Well, it's more so too. You've already galvanized your troops. Yeah. You're not getting more troops. Right? Your segment of troops is your troops. So when you do this, you're not bringing more troops on. All this does is now alienates even more fans that may have given your product a shot. It's like, oh, this guy is back on this stuff again. I'm good.
Maybe on the initial tweet, though, if I was a pro wrestling fan, and because remember, we talked about this before, Tony has this history of playing the victim. So if I'm a pro wrestling fan and I like to watch pro wrestling, and I see this tweet that this company, this guy is being the victim, I don't say bullied, but the woe is him, maybe I would endear him and watch his show. But you're right. I believe you got your AEW fans. You got them. You probably got them super tight, and you're probably not going to lose them. But I think that's probably was the initial approach. The going back and forth afterwards, I think that was just to create a buzz.
So to wrap up this tweet conversation, all I have to say is thank you, Anthony Germain. We appreciate you for that. We love you for that. If you want violence anytime, just pick up that Twitter app. That Twitter app was probably calling him, boy, and he was like, I need it. I want it. I got to have it. And he picked that thing up. He went to town on it. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tony, for giving us content. Right.
It's great content. We love you for that. I talked about the player hater of the year, Eric Bischoff. Anybody who's followed Eric Bischoff the last couple of years, anytime AEW does something, he craps all over. They can't do nothing right. I'm not saying that. He has given them props in the past. But he made a comment earlier this week surrounding Mercedes. Do you have the actual quote in front of you, E? Let me see if I can find it. he made a comment. Basically, it was to the suggestion of Mercedes is not going to move the needle coming into AEW. And then he finished the quote off with AEW is quickly becoming TNA. I didn't like that. But let me see when I can find the official one. But give me your guys' quick thoughts about him saying that while I try to find the actual quote.
Is there more to that? Because that's what I saw really quickly, but I don't know. Sometimes it could be like clickbait. I think that's what it's called. Did he mean, or did he have facts behind that, or is it just him sounding like a hater? Because if it was just him sounding like a hater, my original thoughts is like, don't do that. Like, don't put that negative energy on I'm gonna say on that woman. Like, just don't do that. Like, if she's going to debut in AEW, this should be a great thing. She should be welcomed. She should be praised. She should be held to a high standard.
Now, remember, maybe you don't know, these quotes are coming from his podcast, which is strictly business. So he talks a lot about the business of pro wrestling. It is not about just giving people flowers and talking about great storylines. It's typically about the business. So the quote is this. When it was asked what Mercedes Mone might do for AEW business, he said nothing. I mean, how many times have we seen big names come from WWE to AEW and people speculating about how it's going to impact the business and what's going to happen, and nothing happens? It doesn't matter who you bring in there. I made the comment, and I'm going to make it again. AEW is quickly becoming TNA.
I don't have a problem with him saying that then. I don't have a problem with it. I thought that it came from more of a space of him just hating, like, oh, she's a nobody. Who cares if she gets over there?
He won't come that way.
Yeah.
With it.
Yeah. So I don't have a problem with that.
I agree. 1,000%. Man, and I almost feel like TNA was a little different. I just don't know if TNA had the push that AEW has. I think, but TNA had a lot of big names. You know, the main event Mafia. I don't think you're familiar with the Rhodesia, but they had Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Sting, Booker T. Kurt Angle was in that group.
Steiner?
You know, yep, Scott was in there. I mean, it was a huge group, and it didn't do anything for them. They got Jeff Hardy, fresh off of Jeff Hardy's hot run he was having at WWF at the time. This is after he had a hot feud with CM Punk. I can't think of the year, Matt. But at this point in time, Jeff Hardy was, to me as a fan, was transitioning to being one of the top faces in the business at that point in time. He left, went to TNA almost immediately, and didn't do anything for that company. I think the same would be said for Mercedes if she were to go to AEW. I just don't think that they have the proper creative in place to take advantage of her. We've already seen Edge. We've seen Edge, and it could be the power of WWE. Maybe this the name Adam Copeland doesn't reside with fans like Edge does. But you know, he should have been a bigger factor in that company. He hasn't done anything for the numbers, and he's almost like another guy on that show. You look at Saraya, another big name came, and she's just another character. Now, I think that Mercedes will be a little bit bigger, but I just think the overall division itself isn't as strong as it needs to be to capitalize on her. If she were to be something tremendous for that company, they kind of have to book her like Hulk Hogan back in the day, to where she is the division. And people are tuning in, not necessarily to see who she's wrestling, but to see her. Like, I want to see Mercedes. It doesn't matter who she's in the ring with. I'm coming to see Mercedes. And I just don't think they have the proper creative in place to take advantage of her. I think you might get a small buzz. But I don't think you're going to get any of the WWE or NXT crowd that doesn't watch because she's there.
So I do think, I mean, I said it a few pods ago. Remember, I said, I don't even know if Roman would move the needle significantly if he went to AEW. So I'm not going to backtrack that. What I will say is she's absolutely going to do something for AEW business. No, they're not going to all of a sudden start beating WWE in ratings or in attendance. But no, you're going to see a lift with Mercedes being there. You're going to see a lift in match quality. You're going to see a lift in merch sales. You are going to see a lift in attendance. Now, is it going to take them from 3,000 seaters to 7,000 seaters? No, probably not. But you will see a lift. I just think him saying she's not going to do anything for the business is a little disingenuous.
So you think that she's a bigger name than Edge? There's more brand?
Absolutely. Yes.
Oh, gosh, I gotta
100%.
I think that's a disrespect to Edge and his 20-something year career.
Just pull up any of the numbers. Any numbers you want to pull up, merch sales, like just anything, ratings or views on, social media. She's her, man. Like she has a fan base that is rabid, that is ridiculous. She moved the needle for NJPW. Now, once again, they didn't go from running.
Can I ask the question though? Isn't the same fan base is already watching the product that's going to buy into her anyway? You do because you got to think about it. If they're going to move the needle, it's not going to be the 900,000 that already watched the program. It's not going to be the 20,000 people that will show up for those arenas. That it's going to be people from WWE side, the casuals, the people who watch every now and then. Those are the people who are going to tune over to AEW to increase those draws. Do you think that she's a big enough name to draw WWE fans and casual fans back to the program? That's what CM Punk did for them.
Some, not a significant percent, but I do think some. And it's good too. The latest word is people in the know are still saying, of course, we don't know anything until the ink dries on the contract, but she's going to AEW. And they're going to make a big deal out of her debut. There were some thoughts that she was going to show up tonight, if you listen to this on Wednesday, for Dynamite. They're in Daly's place. And I'm like, man, don't have that woman come out in front of 2,000 people. I forgot what Daly's place's max is, 3,000. But it looks like from the word is we're going to know it's coming. They're going to make a big deal out of it. And that's what it needs to be. That's what it should be. So hopefully we find out sooner rather than later. Or Rhodesia would say, Sasha Banks is going to be number 30 in the Royal Rumble.
Number 30, the Royal Rumble. We'll see her.
I hope she's bringing a writer with her.
Don't do that. Before we get to
well, if she's
Raw,
if she's Sasha Banks, she wouldn't need one. She'll be fine.
Oh, I want to bring up the Paul Heyman. Shout out to Heyman. Somebody had put a tweet up over the weekend surrounding just Heyman has managed Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, just like the star power. And then I had tweeted that you can argue that he's gotten better and better with each person he's had. A legit, real artist at what he does each time he goes out there, salute. And he responded, quote tweeted. And what he said here, I just kind of want to talk about this really quick. One, you guys know we big up Heyman a ton on this show. I had just said, I think on last episode, he's top 2. To me, he's my GOAT. For sure, when it comes to managing and working the mic. I can see somebody else saying somebody else. I get it, but he's at least top 2, hopefully on everybody's list. And he never wastes a moment to either teach. He's always going to sell. That's just who he is. He has the wrestling business, so he always is going to sell what he's got going on. Even the last line in this tweet was, "That's not a way to own property on an island of relevancy." Right? He's always going to sell what he's doing, but he always gives nuggets too. Listen to this response. He said, "You damn right I get better with each and every single performance. If I'm not better tomorrow than I am today, and better 2 days from now than I am tomorrow, then I'm resting on my laurels. And there's way too many people out there who are comfortable doing that." And that's when he finishes with, "That's not a way to own property." So he's going to give us a little gimmick right at the end, but he gave a really big nugget there. And the reason why I respected that response so much is he's talking to some people in that tweet. Of course, we don't have to speculate who he's talking to. We would never know. But for him to say, of course, I got to make sure I'm better every single time I go out there. He is stamped. Not that I would ever think he would go out there and just lay an egg on purpose. But you got a lot of equity, Paul Heyman. Mm-hmm. So for you to know every single time I go out there, I got to be better, because there's way too many people in this business that rest on what they're doing. I just thought that was an incredible response. What's your guys' thoughts on what he said there?
Super deep. And to piggyback off of what you said, I remember when Kayla, last day of the bump, and Paulie showed up, and even what he said to her. You could tell that there was some conviction in his voice, like, I know your work ethic, Kayla. You're going to do well, and no matter what you do. So that's just one thing about him. He is going to always perform to the highest level. Like you said, he's at a point where he's been doing this, 30 plus years. You could cash it in if you want to, and you still wouldn't be judged for cashing it in. But he doesn't.
Yeah. Enough said.
All right. Raw. Rhodesia, what was some of the major I guess we can, if you want to finish the conversation around Jinder and Seth, you asked, did Seth have a Royal Rumble opponent yet? If you want to start there, you start wherever you want to.
I just got a couple of notes from Raw. I'm gonna save the best for last. One, what? Becky had a really great promo. Like
Sure
I
did.
couldn't even hate on her promo.
Sure did.
She brought things full circle. She talked about, that either now she's either stronger since the last time her and Nia had that thing, or Nia's weaker. I mean, like, that was really, really well written. Kofi got his ass royally handed to.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Stop. Slow down.
I'm
Slow
just
down,
running
lady.
it down.
Slow down.
Just
Slow down.
running it
Slow down. Slow down. Let's stick with the Becky one for a second. That is babyface 101 promo. Put your opponent over. Put yourself over. Acknowledge you lost, but it's not done yet. I was like, yo. And we know Becky's great. I think probably the biggest thing that I walked away with last night from the women, man, that match with her and Rhea at WrestleMania is going to feed families, boy.
Mm-hmm.
It's time. If we knew it was coming, I have said that that's my match for Mania for Rhea for the longest time. And it's getting close. And that build, I think, is going to be ridiculous. I think that match is going to be ridiculous. I think that's a match that you could argue, if it wasn't for just the top shelf matches that's going to be on Mania, like, oh, I could see that being a main event one year for WrestleMania. It won't this year, but this is going to be fun. This is going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, I want to just kind of stop there and just highlight just how fantastic that promo was.
You think she's taking the belt at Mania? I think it's about time.
It's time.
About time.
Yeah, I mean, Rhea's had it for a year.
Yeah. She's kind of bulletproof at this point. How about you, E?
I didn't like the promo.
Wow. What didn't you like about it?
It's generic.
Oh, wow.
He's like, it's a woman giving it. That's what I didn't like.
God dang.
He said,
let's go to the next.
We had a deal. We weren't doing that anymore. We're not doing that anymore.
So talk us through what you didn't like. You said it was generic. What was generic about it?
It's exactly what you said. It was a classic babyface promo, and it was long.
See, and most of the Becky ones is classic babyface. I can't stand them. I think they're just too cheesy. No, I thought this one was great. I thought she had the perfect tone and how she was giving it. And maybe it's also different because she was behind, like, backstage, and maybe not like in the ring. I've kind of gotten more, I've noticed kind of my feelings toward people, like, again, Shinsuke, all his stuff in the back, or his animated things are incredible. Maybe not so much in the ring. Maybe that's why I felt that way about Becky. But I thought that she hit it out the park for me.
She could have cut that in half and made the same point.
So rebook it. She lost to Nia. This match, if you look at the storylines and where they promoted, was 5 years in the making. They finally have a one-on-one match. She loses. She got the Rumble in 2 weeks. What would you have wanted to hear from her in that promo?
A non-generic babyface promo that went on for 10 minutes.
It wasn't 10 minutes, not even close. But like, give me something of what you would want to hear from her after losing against Nia Jax.
So I don't write promos for talent. If I did, I'd be doing it for Tony Khan right now. It's just her promo.
Or maybe not.
It just was just very generic. It just very generic. I mean, it was, I didn't think it was it was fine. It was a fine promo. This is one of those things to where, I guess maybe, I don't know what you guys saw in it, but it wasn't, when I think of a fantastic promo, I think of a promo like, who somebody like an MJF might cut, or like a CM Punk might cut on a great day. A Roman Reigns type of a promo. That wasn't that to me. That was just a basic babyface promo.
So then,
anything that stood out to me.
So you teed it up. Let's go to CM Punk and Drew's promo. Because you walk away, you're like, I don't know who I'm supposed to be cheering for. I'm just cheering for everybody, I guess. I love everybody in this world.
Double standard time. Yes. Okay. AEW would have cut in the beginning. Hell, they used to talk in the beginning every time they had the pyro going off at the beginning of their shows. And I used to be like, shut the F up. Drew stopped the whole intro. They commentators talking. Drew stopped the whole thing, told him to shut this down. He got to talk. And so I am a double standard here. The moment that happened, I was like, hell yeah, Drew. Drew freaking cooked Punk. Let's just get straight to the point. Drew cooked him. Now, I listened back again today because I think maybe I'm not truly true in my Punk being my number one wrestler of all time.
No.
So I had to go back to listen because last night.
You mean you're lying about that? You mean that's not true?
I don't know.
I would have never guessed it.
I think I'm trying to believe it in something that's not there. But I'm like, last night, Drew, it's it. Like, Punk, scrape him off the ground and take him back. I went back and listened to it. Punk comebacks was very, really good. So overall, that whole interaction between the two of them, really, really good. But Drew freaking cooked him. I think it must be said that it was 1-0 Drew in that interaction.
Love it. You know, one thing I noticed, like Drew did a great job with his promo. See, I thought that was more on the level of fantastic.
Well, that's why I brought it up.
That's
right there.
You know, that's what I look for. You know, but you know, I noticed about Drew, man, he's just a big ass man.
He's a giant.
That's a manly man. I mean, you know, and I was watching it with my wife, and actually, she for some reason sat and was actually watching the show for me.
Hey,
because it's
Drew.
Drew is fine. Okay.
No, well, she was listening to Becky's promo too. But I'm like, wow, you're actually watching wrestling. You're not running.
It's Mania season.
Yeah, and we got to get her on the show.
He got Triple H got her too. But I was telling like, man, look how big Drew is. She's like, well, maybe Punk is just small. I'm like, Punk is not a small man. Punk is a legit 6'1". I'm like, he's making him look small because of how thick and big he is. I'm like, he just doesn't carry himself like a man that size, right? Drew carries himself like a small guy. That's one thing I noticed, but he did great with his promo. I actually agree with Rhodesia. I think he cooked CM Punk, but I just don't think that the CM Punk that came back to AEW is the CM Punk that left 7 years ago. He's just not the same guy on the mic.
You mean WWE?
No, I'm AEW. I don't think he was as good in AEW as he was in the past. I think it's continued to WWE. He hasn't cut I guess he has such a high, work like
standard,
pipe bomb, he just hasn't come anywhere close to that since he's been back. And Drew just gave it to him and gave it to him and gave it to him. But at the end of the day, I feel like he's just setting up for another loss because I guess this dude is getting jobbed out of this company. I feel like we are coming close to this man being out of the company and showing up, with being 0-25 and getting a title shot on AEW TV next year. That's what I feel like.
Matt, before you go, you know what they should do? They should get back and be 2 LW. Jinder and Drew.
Oh no!
Let's go.
mute up, Rhodesia. Hit that mute button.
Because I didn't use
60 seconds.
Oh,
60 seconds. You guys were probably higher on that segment than I was. I thought it was okay, but it felt like to me those were two separate promos from Drew, and they put it into one. So like he starts the show by saying like I need to quit. I need to get out of here. And then Punk comes out, they do their thing, and then he immediately pops back into I'm winning the Rumble. And it was kind of just like, huh? It felt disjointed. It felt like, hey, we need to get to from point A to point D tonight. So let's get there. And I was like, damn, that's a little bit of a miss. I thought the barbs were good between back and forth, like some of the insider stuff about, complaining backstage and, okay, cool. That's cool. You're going to get a little bit of that with Punk just because he's new back into WWE. But I was like, all right, okay, it's cool. Now, I'll tell you what, Elimination Chamber is setting up to be, once again, another can't miss PLE. Think about what they set up last night. We're getting Punk and Drew at Elimination Chamber. We're getting Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley in her home country in Elimination Chamber. And I get can't main event that with that, especially if it's Rock and Roman. We still got to figure out how this plays out. Cody, again today, just basically his eyes on the prize. Everything's going to work out. Okay. So if we just still hold out that it's going to be Rock and Cody at Mania, or I'm sorry, Cody and Roman at Mania, then we got to assume there's going to be some type of Rock and Roman at Elimination Chamber. Then that's main eventing. Absolutely. It would just be super cool to see Rhea main event a stadium show in her home country with the type of year she had. But we're getting those two matches, and I'm here for both of them. I think Drew and Punk's going to be great, and to your point, Drew's losing that too. But that's fine, though. Like, I'm good with that. But yeah, for me, it just felt disjointed. It felt like, hey, we need to get here 2 weeks before Rumble. This is a great story we can tell with Elimination Chamber. Drew, go out there and tell your story.
If we're done with Punk, and my 60 seconds is over, so if we're done with Punk, how did y'all feel about the main event? Now, I watched it. I broke it up a few times with Shinsuke and Cody, and I felt like almost it was, again, just their match. There was really no emotions to it being, it's a street fight that I think is called. What are y'all thoughts on that? For it main eventing the show.
Oh, I had my readers on because I'm finishing the story. That's what I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready to finish
Your analogy.
the story. It was
Wow.
it was great.
That wasn't bad. That was a pretty good analogy. That's a
great.
pretty good analogy. Shout to you, E. I like that one. I got my readers on. We finishing the story.
I thought he was reading his own book and it's time to go to bed. Kind of. I didn't understand it, but okay.
See,
yeah, I like it.
So, but I mean, that's not a fair question to eat. Anything Cody's in, he's locked into, which he as he should. Like us,
it's time to finish the story.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
The match was what it was, and Nakamura's presentation has been fantastic. I love his graphics. I love the video packages. I love the anime style stuff. Bell to bell, Nakamura's not the same person that he was a long time ago.
No, he's not,
and that's fine.
My guy.
But it's time to move on from him in that main event. You know, he went from Seth to Cody. And the first Seth match, I wasn't a fan of.
Right.
I thought they did a really good job with Extreme Rules or whatever they had.
The one with the Mist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed the Cody Nakamura story, but it's just so hard when you know, like, Cody's got to come out of this looking strong because it's Rumble time and it's WrestleMania time. So, like, for me, the match was what it was. I like the finish. I thought the finish was really cool. But yeah, I mean, to E's point, all right, we're through that. Okay, now it is go time. Now you got 2 weeks, Cody, to galvanize your fan base to win that Rumble, and then we head into Philly.
Oh, we're ready.
So is that a double standard? Because we kind of just said, okay, well, we know that, again, that was a placeholder. But if we would have saw that on AEW, wouldn't we be a little bit more upset? Or is it because the presentation of Nakamura, having his anime video packages and all of that being tied in?
Well, you got to know, we're talking about championships, right? We're talking about who's deserving of a championship with no ranking system. This is just a grudge match.
No, I'm talking about just in general, double standards in general. I'm just saying, if that was the main event on AEW Dynamite, wouldn't people probably be upset? Like, we already know that Shinsuke is not going to win at all.
No, because AEW is about the match quality. So nobody would say that. Now, I'm sure if you poll the majority of people, they probably thought the main event was good. It was a fine main event.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, I'm just not. I like everything they've done with Nakamura, but I'm just kind of over what he is now in the ring.
Because, like, I think when I would say something's fine, I think, like, so we're super fans and, 5-star matches and all that other great stuff. I just think the vast majority of people just need to be able to feel something and to be entertained. And, it doesn't matter if it had, like, a match of the year candidate match or those cage matches that Tony talks about. I don't think the vast majority of the wrestling audience needs that to say something was good or not. I just don't. So when Cody and Shinsuke and they do their matches, they're fine. I think it accomplishes the job. I think there are people still engaged into Cody after the match. Answer is yes. Did Shinsuke, leave out, still looking kind of fierce. I think he on the next feud he's in, I don't know if it's going to be as high caliber. I think he'll still be there. I think it did its job and it served its purpose. That's why I say it's fine. I don't think they're losing any traction with that match. Now, if this was a WrestleMania main event type of match, then maybe we might have a different conversation or something at SummerSlam.
And we had that.
A Raw,
we've had that.
Think
about how many years. I mean, we can go to twice in a generation. Rock, Cena too.
Yeah.
Like if you look at like those 3 or 4 Manias right around that time, every single match that was on Mania, you'd be like, oh, I know who's winning this. Months out. Oh, I know who's winning this.
I won't say every Mania. It's always kind of decided. And I think what I want to say, maybe Triple H said this years ago. What's wrong with knowing the ending of a story, right? Because you go to a movie, Batman's going to win at the end. Spider-Man's going to win at the end. Well, you actually didn't know if you saw Spider-Man across the multiverse.
Right.
Maybe not that movie, but the vast majority of the movies, the outcome of the movie. When
Thanos was going to snap, though.
Oh, we know that. But you still go to the show. Yeah, we didn't know that. But you still go in and you enjoy the actual movie, right?
Because of the story. And that's why the story is so important. Yep, that's why the story is so important.
Absolutely.
Matt, I know you wanted us to talk about on Raw, who did we feel was the MVP? And it could only be the PR of the Judgment Day. R-Truth. Live, laugh, and love. That is what the Judgment Day always says. Like, we talk about Paulie, and I'm not trying to put R-Truth on the Paulie level, but we're talking about when you hit more than you miss. Man, R-Truth, I think you said it before, protect this man at all costs. I think you even tweeted that. How can he still be this funny this many years later?
I saw an incredible tweet, and I apologize if you're a listener and you said it. I don't remember who said it. The tweet said, R-Truth with Judgment Day is Sami Zayn with the Bloodline.
Ooh.
And I was like, 1,000% that's what it is.
But not in like in a recycle of a storyline, like what we talked about on other
Just
shows.
brings the levity, brings the the comedic timing. Yes.
It's what we needed, but didn't know we wanted.
Yeah.
Like, right? I didn't know I was going to be in the Sami Zayn in the Bloodline as much as I was when we had that. I didn't know that I would care as much about R-Truth in 2024.
No one would have.
As I do now. But man, like the video package, when he was a baby, he opened his eyes, looked at the doctor and said, I'm going to be in the Judgment Day. And he said, you know what I love about it? It makes it so funny. He says this stuff with such a straight face. I love
he's serious.
I love straight face humor, man. It's just phenomenal, man.
And
he is 100% serious.
Tom and Nick Mysterio, he was cracking up that whole time on the video package. He couldn't hold it together.
Hey, as my wife says, Diego Mysterio.
What? That might be borderline racist.
There's nothing borderline about that one. He out here calling little people the M word last show. Now she call them.
Hey, I'm just saying what Kevin Nash said. I didn't say it.
She repeated it.
Oh my God,
hey,
man!
You gotta call people out.
I didn't have Truth as the MVP of Raw. I have Rhea as the MVP of Raw. Same stable, same group. That reaction she got when she came out there to address, who was it? Nia Jax, right? Whoo! And I'm sitting there and I'm like, she is a 100% heel on this television show.
Yep.
Outside of her looks and her being cool, there was no redeeming qualities about Rhea Ripley. She cheats all the time. She talks down to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like she is over like that. I'm so happy for her. But they need to. It's going to be interesting to see if they turn her anytime soon, because her and Priest still got some.
They don't need to.
They got some issues
between
each other, and you saw it again in that backstage segment on Raw. I got her going against Nia at Elimination Chamber in her hometown. So I mean, of course, you can always just flip it, and she's maybe it's one of those like she's a star, right? So she's gonna get a superstar reaction no matter what.
Right.
and then the whole Becky thing happens. But yeah, that reaction. I mean, shout out to that crowd. They were on one. Portland kudos to
was
you.
off the hook last night.
There is some
Or
trash cities when it comes to crowd reactions. Portland was not one on Raw. They came with it. They gave it up. So good job to them.
And I thought Nia was about to kiss Rhea too before she walked off.
She should have.
She was getting close,
but maybe we're not there in the story yet. And Nia's been cooking too since she's been back. Two quick things that we didn't talk about on SmackDown from Sunday's pod that I want to get to. And one is just a statement for me. And then I do want to talk about Karrion Kross's new group. He's got some thoughts. I got some thoughts, but I think we're on a completely different side of the spectrum. And I think Rhodesia is also on one of the other sides. Mia Yim is missing something.
I said that a long time ago.
And it is not talent. She's very talented. But she's missing something.
Yeah.
And I can just leave it there.
I think she got burned too when she joined
the OC?
AJ, the OC and AJ. I think because she was already kind of, to me, a little bit just missing a little bit of something, but that could have been changed with booking. And then when she got down with them and then AJ ended up getting hurt, I just think that then they got super cold. And I just think that's what happened there. I think she has the potential. She got a great look. She can wrestle. I mean, sometimes I see her, she has some missed spots, but again, that's wrestling any given night. But yeah, and I hate to be critical on her, but she's absolutely missing something. I don't really care too much about her.
Do you guys follow the New Day? Like outside of wrestling? Like their podcast or see any of their YouTube stuff?
Nope.
So when you listen to their dynamic with each other, outside of the ring, on the podcast or on YouTube or Xavier's channel, how you think they would act is about how they act.
Like you talking about New Day?
Yes, New Day. So who's they? You're talking about the New Day, right? Just
correct, the New Day.
Okay, got it.
Talking about the New Day right now. I said if you guys familiar with them outside of the wrestling stuff, the way you would think they, as a New Day, would act is about how they act. Like Big E is very goofy, jovial. Kofi is very goofy, jovial. Xavier is very quick-witted, right? The best wrestlers and the best characters are extensions of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I follow Mia Yim outside of wrestling. I watch some of her YouTube stuff from some of her gaming things. And that Mia Yim is a little different than the head baddie in charge that she did in NXT or the character that she's doing now, right? She would be better served to find her voice in her character and do something that's closer to who she is. And that way it'll come across better on television. That's what she's missing. She's right now trying to play a character that's probably unlike her. I haven't seen any resemblance of the character she tries to play in wrestling, outside of it. The only wrestler that I know of that can successfully be somebody different in the ring is Adam Cole. The Adam Cole, we mainly know him as a heel, the obnoxious, cocky, arrogant heel. He's not that in real life that I've seen. He's a really nice, like with the Adam Cole face that we saw, that's closer to Adam Cole than the Adam Cole that we know, right? He's one of the few wrestlers that can kind of be somebody that he's not. And that's where I think Mia Yim is right now.
It's so funny you say that because yes, but no. Around personalities, I was telling Rhodesia, this was a couple months ago. We were at a Warrior show, indie show, and we were in the locker room. And I remember guys just, doing their thing, right? Some guys are playing cards, whatever's happening is happening. And I remember just looking and I said, it's so funny and I'm happy for them that they're able to play what they're not, like their alter ego, right? Like you hear a lot of bigger people who are completely gentle giants, but whatever that may look like, if it's through wrestling or if they are an actor or whatever it is, they put on a completely different facade for that. And sometimes I think it's, kind of that protection when you're younger, if you're being talked about, or if you're a geek because you like, art, or a musician and you don't look like the hot musician are at the time, but you have genius in you, you create an alter ego, albeit a rapper, singer, whatever the case may be. Now we're talking about, of course, pro wrestling. So I think it's one or the other. I think it is, hey, tap into your alter ego that you created maybe 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago. And you are that person when you're on, when that light comes on, it is action and you're ready to rock and roll. Or it is, hey, be you and just turn it up to 11. And she has to figure that out because she's too talented, in my opinion, for her not to be bigger than what she was. She tweeted out Friday before that match. I think Bianca said it to her. She said Bianca had told her, go out there and show who we know you've always been.
Wow.
And I'm like, yes. And I can't say that she did that in the match. Match was good. It was a good match. But I just remember watching her like, man, there's something missing with her. And I want her to find it. Because I think she's good.
Yeah.
Somebody else I think is good. I'm gonna throw it to you. Karrion Kross. My guy got a new group. Paul Alluring, Authors of Pain, is back. Scarlett goes from blonde to brunette, looking incredible. Sent E a text, said, man, we forgot to talk about Karrion's new group. And I think he said something to the fact that I don't give a damn about him, or it ain't gonna matter, or something to that effect. Sir, floor is yours. Why are you hating on Karrion Kross, Paul Alluring, Authors of Pain, and Scarlett? And you haven't even gave him a chance yet, sir.
Oh, no, you said we forgot about the group. And I said, yeah, because they suck.
Damn, look at that. That's what he said.
Down.
That's what he said.
Yeah, they suck.
They haven't done nothing yet.
Exactly.
So Karrion Kross and Scarlett came out. Scarlett has a new do. Beautiful woman. It doesn't matter what color she colors her hair. She's just beautiful. Karrion Kross came out on TV, missing the same thing he'd been missing. AOP came out. They're just big, heavy dudes, right? Doing the same finisher that wasn't that impressive a couple years ago.
Hater.
And Paul Alluring, God bless him, man, but the man came out looking like he's 85 years old.
No, man, he had that shit on. He had on the suit with the glove. Come on, man. With the Hall of Fame rings. Come on, man.
Yeah, look 85 years old.
Nah.
So, I don't know what we're doing. I would have loved him to debut as the devil guys. Like that was Adam.
Oh my God,
Adam Cole's
stop.
group. That would be nice to have AOP and Karrion because they need a leader. They need somebody with some charisma in that group that can talk on the microphone and carry that faction. I don't know who that is, because I didn't see that person appear on SmackDown. And then they had the nerve to have this new heel. They look like heels to me, all right? And they came out there and they debuted and they wiped out another heel faction that's just getting started. Like, right? And my man Dawkins and Tez and Bobby. And what happened to my girl, Brandy? What happened to Brandy?
She was in the backstage segment. She's on deck.
Was she okay? I missed her.
Sure
like,
was.
Where's she been at? Hopefully,
yep.
I was like, maybe she's gonna come out. She's gonna counter Scarlett, right? And I know she's been putting in some work down there in the dungeon too. So maybe she's gonna have some new things for your boy, and I hope she do. But I'm like, what are we doing with Bobby? I thought these guys were heels, right? Because they was kind of cutting a heelish program. And then you got
Bobby's Bobby.
And then they sent out these big old non-charismatic guys to rough them up.
They are the authors of pain. They are not authors of charisma. They are authors of pain. They are supposed to come out, be menacing, destroy you, leave you where you're standing. That's what they're supposed to be. You got to give it some time. First off, this will succeed because, one, we know Karrion Kross is an H guy. And two, you've had AOP for some time and you debuted them. So it has to be some good plans in the works for them. Has to be.
I think there's a reason why them guys been signed for the past year and we ain't seen them.
For this
moment
been a reason why for this moment
Karrion Kross
This moment
has
now.
been with the company for 5 years now.
But you got to
We
be
still don't
careful because he was under Vince
No, he's been
for a while.
Triple H. No, he's been with Trips.
And he was under Vince when he first debuted. Remember, that was the whole reason why
he had
I
the dumb helmet
hated
on.
what he was done.
No, but
he had the Farouk side helmet.
No,
y'all know
but
about Farouk side
we're erasing
when he
that.
debuted with the blue helmet on.
He got
looking like a
fired.
gladiator.
He got fired.
Yeah,
H brought him back. We're starting from that point.
Yep. So then you just got to give it time. Got to give it, because first off, he was doing something with AJ, who was cold. I forgot who else he was going against, but some of his opponents just wasn't there. I am so ready for this. This is, I think, going to be. They haven't said their name yet, have they?
No. Nope.
You have Paul Alluring, who's going to be able to talk for them.
Oh, no.
You got Karrion Kross and Scarlett, which is beautiful, and you got the authors of not charisma, but authors of pain. Let's go.
AOC.
AOC.
I love how you guys are. I love how, that's why we're friends. Like I love how you guys are just so hopeful. You know
what's funny though?
I love it. This is amazing.
And I don't want to blow like, okay, but he's shitting on this new stable, and he probably should be shitting on Mia Yim too, because she's been there just about as long and she don't have it either.
We're not going to do that.
But he just sat there and just blowing smoke up her butt because he likes her outside of the wrestling ring.
I'm not doing that.
Because I can argue that Karrion Kross and Scarlett has shown more charisma in the last year than Mia Yim has in her entire WWE run. I can argue that. We don't have to argue it, but I can't argue that. I am hoping this works. How
are you going to go backwards to tear down our sister to build up this charismaless jobber crew at the expense of Bobby
Jobber crew, they haven't had a match yet.
Jobbers.
I do hope it works. I'm excited for it. I am thinking though, if by some chance this doesn't work, we may be in trouble. So
they need a leader. Who can look? They need a leader. Who can join it? Right? Who can join that group to give them a leader? Right? Because they don't like Karrion Kross can't carry it. He couldn't carry it, but he couldn't carry himself. So who can they add? Somebody got to add somebody, because most factions are usually 4. I know they got managers and valets on the side, but
who would be great? You know, it would be incredible. A heel Randy Orton.
Always wanted a heel Randy Orton.
He crossed my mind when I thought about it, but I'm like, damn. I mean, we got to get to. I'm assuming we're gonna get to Mania with a face Randy.
I think so too. Yeah.
Like, right. So that's why I disqualified him.
Or maybe not. Maybe because we're gonna. This is a whole long conversation that I want to have maybe in the next couple episodes, because we do need to talk about where does LA Knight go from here after the Rumble. We know he's not winning the Rumble, but is it a Randy Orton path? Is it the Logan Paul path for Mania? Like, what does that look like? Because if it's LA Knight, then there's a chance you turn Orton. I just don't think you need to turn Orton heel right now. I think you keep him as a face. But I mean, I would love Drew too. I think Drew's a good one. But Orton with 2 big heavies like that, 3 heavies with Kross, that could be cooking. That could be cooking. What else? That was all I had. Like I said, we talked about SmackDown. I just wanted to bring up those 2 things because we didn't get a chance to talk it last episode. All right, then. Do not forget, ladies and gentlemen, Sunday is our 100th episode. So we are super excited. We talked about it on the last episode, but not many new podcasts make it out of like their first few weeks. And because of you, we do this for you guys. We don't sit here and talk to ourselves and listen back just for ourselves. It's the camaraderie with you guys. It is the connection that we have with our listeners. We appreciate you guys. I always say it more than you guys know. So thank you guys for continuing to get the word out about the podcast, letting your friends know, letting your families know. You guys listening, it means the world to us. So we got that on Sunday. And then who knows what we'll talk about on Wednesday. I'm sure Anthony will go hard again on some tweets. Maybe that can be an entire Wednesday episode. And then that next week, we are doing the watch along of Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Iron Man match. And then we are doing our top 20 superstars of all time. So I will, of course, remind you guys again, probably next week. Feel free to send your top 20 list in. Feel free, of course, to do the watch along with us. Should be interesting to see if that holds up or not. All right, and then we are going to be doing our live post show for Royal Rumble on that Saturday night. Was it 27th? I think it is 27th or 28th, whatever it is. We are doing a live post show. So we will be on YouTube. We will be on X. We'll try to get Facebook going. Rhodesia, that's your territory. But
No,
I
we
don't
ain't
know.
gonna be on Facebook.
Yeah.
Only old people will be on Facebook anyway. Sorry, y'all.
Maybe
yeah.
we will be on Facebook then. Here we go. We have an awesome January, end of January, y'all.
we do.
I'm so excited.
And we'll have some surprises on that Royal Rumble show too. So I am definitely looking forward to it. So there you go. That is it. I am done. We are done. We will see you guys on Sunday on our 100th episode. Talk to you then. Peace.